Did you know migraine affects more than 10% of people worldwide? But how do you know if you suffer from this disorder or if it's just a regular headache? Here to share migraine symptoms, causes, and treatments is Dr. Farhad Bashir, neurologist at Misher Neuroscience Center at Memorial Hermann the Woodlands Medical Center. Welcome to the show, doctor.
Thank you, Derek. Pleasure to be here.
So let's talk about this percentage we just noted. I mean, 10% of the world's population, that's pretty huge. Literally millions and millions, hundreds of millions of people suffer from migraine. So how common are migraine headaches, and what exactly makes them different from just a regular headache?
So migraine is very, very common, as you mentioned. You know, over 30 million people in America suffer from migraine. There are estimates that say 1 in 5 women suffer from migraine. And so it's very, very, very common. You know, 1 in 4 households is another estimate that's been made. You know, 1 in 4 households, there's someone that suffers from a migraine. You know, migraines are generally thought to be moderate to severe headaches, but what often makes them different from other types of headache is their disabling element. Often when people have a migraine, they say that they're in a state of misery. They can't function, they can't think, they can't concentrate. And so this is often the hallmark feature of migraine. And with the headache may come other associated features such as light sensitivity, sound sensitivity, nausea. Some people may be sensitive to certain smells, visual disturbances, even sensory disturbances could all be symptoms of a migraine.
And the fact that these are so debilitating, doctor, for so many people, migraines can last up to 72 hours untreated, sensitivity to light, nausea, vomiting, flashes of light, distorted vision. I mean, for so many people, they are literally unable to function. So are there any things that we can do to prevent this from happening? Because I know there are certain triggers like stress.
Yes, absolutely. So there are factors that may provoke a migraine. Some may be preventable through self-directed means. Some may require some treatment, but migraines have been associated with stress. For some women, for example, there can be hormonal changes that may also feed into migraine. And so sometimes these can be dealt with self-coping mechanisms, but there are also various preventative treatment options. Sometimes they can be treated with supplements or natural supplements. Sometimes, you know, prescription medicine may be warranted depending on the frequency and severity of the headache. But stress management, relaxation techniques, exercise, these are all helpful ways of dealing with migraine.
Okay, so, and we're seeing some of these ways to manage them on the screen. You mentioned that, you know, preventing them because they can be triggered by stress, hormone changes, even the weather, lack of food, and sleep. Let's talk about a situation where maybe someone has tried all of these things or avoiding those things. They've used some of the supplements we just had on the screen. At what point should someone consider seeing a doctor if they have been unable to find relief?
Well, what happens commonly if someone has a headache, they may resort to something over the counter. So, and if it works, whether it be something like naproxen or ibuprofen, you know, then that's great. But what is often the reason that would prompt someone to come to my office, for example, or to a provider would be, one, if it did not provide satisfactory relief, or if, I would argue, if they're taking it too much. And too much, you know, I would say it's more than 2 days per week. So if someone is experiencing headaches more than 2 days per week, that may be a sign that they may benefit from a different treatment approach. Often those same medicines that can provide relief over the counter, if taken too much, can result in what is commonly called rebound headaches, or what we formerly called medication overuse headaches. And so if someone is experiencing headaches more than 2 days per week, that may warrant seeing a clinical provider, and or if the medication that they may be relying on or therapy that they're relying on does not provide satisfactory relief. Those would be the 2 common reasons to see a provider. And
very quickly, we are out of time. Botox is also FDA approved for the prevention of chronic migraines as well, correct?
Correct. Botox is a approved therapy for chronic migraine, very, very effective in many people. And in addition to that, there are newer and newer advancements in the migraine world. We have a new class of preventative therapies known as CGRP monoclonal antibodies. Even for acute treatments, we have several new classes of medication that have just recently come out. And so there's a lot of promise and a lot of hope for migraine sufferers out there.
And that is great news to help people find relief. Dr. Farhad Bashir, thank you so much for your time and advice.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having me.
And to our viewers, Memorial Hermann, along with Dr. Bashir, are hosting a totally free headache and migraine webinar Wednesday, June 23rd from 6 to 7 p.m. You can RSVP by calling 713-222-CARE. That's 713-222-2273. Or you can go online to memorialhermann.org/headache-webinar.